with On Air with Tony Sweet, only on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Okay, this is On Air with Tony Sweet. I'm Tony Sweet, your host, and guess what? We have Reba Merrill in the house. Thank you, Reba, for being here. And Alexander Rodriguez, there he is, and the one and only, our guest right here, Mike C. Manning. How you doing, Mike? Pull that mic right up to you. There you go. Yeah, go ahead and put those on so you can hear your handsome voice there.
Oh, yeah. Handsome voice. All right, there we go.
There we go.
We're good.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited to have you in the house. I don't think I've interviewed like 1,000 people and 500 broadcasts. I've never interviewed you. I don't think I ever had. So I'm glad you're here. First of all, you're an actor, a writer, producer. You're on the season 4 of MTV's Real World and
in DC.
In DC.
That
season. Season 23, I think it was.
So 23, not 4?
Yeah.
Somebody sent me the wrong
It's
information.
fine. Yeah, season 4 was in like night. I was 5, I think.
Oh, shut up.
Okay. This interview
Here we
is
go,
over.
here we go.
Whoa.
Thank you for joining us.
It's gonna be one of
This
those.
interview is over.
Buckle up.
Well, what we're going to talk about is right now is this coming Sunday you have a premiere of a web series you're in, Youthful Days.
Yes.
New season. What season?
It's
Is
season 4. Oh, season 4.
Maybe
of
that's
Youthful
what it
Days.
was. That's what it was. Okay,
Yeah,
got them backwards.
Yeah.
So talk about for the people out there that don't know what Youthful Days is all about. Tell us
Youthful
about
Days.
Yeah.
So Youthful Days is a sort of a Beverly Hills 90210 meets a Cruel Intentions.
Love it.
Online, yeah, right. It's
Sold
just,
right there.
Sounds sold. It's an online-based web series. New episodes are aired every Sunday on youthfuldays.com. And it's great. It has a really fun, great cast. The writer, director, creator is Brian James. We also have, Jen Lilly, Chriselle
love her.
Staus. Yeah, we have a lot of great actors that are actually on soaps right now. So they shoot with
They're all
us.
sexy.
And they're all sexy. Yeah, Casey Moss just joined the cast.
Wow.
We had Scott Disick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we had he guest starred a couple episodes
That's
ago.
awesome.
So, yeah, so
It's
just
pretty
random.
awesome.
It's really great too because it's kind of appropriate. I'd never actually thought about this until right now, but we have a lot of soap stars, working actors, and like network actors, and then some reality people that just kind of pepper in. So
I love it. Well, it's a great combination.
Yeah.
And how did you get approached to do this?
I did a guest star role just through a friend. He was like, "Hey, I'm on the show. We need this guy, and do you want to do it?" I said, "Sure. Like, why not? I'll give it a Saturday
That's a good
afternoon."
sell.
Yeah. So I went in there and I did it, and I had more fun than I ever could have imagined. The director and I kept in contact, and he approached me a couple months later and said, "Hey, I want to write you a character."
Oh wow!
And which is
awesome.
pretty great because you don't hear that very often. He said, "I want to write you and create an entire character." So we had a couple dinners together, and he's like, not only did he write the character, he said, "What kind of character do you want to play?" And that never happened. That's gold right
You
there.
don't get that though.
And it's a departure from your usual characters that you played on the Disney Channel and Hallmark Channel.
That was it. So I said, well, I just came off of I was on Crash and Bernstein, the Disney XD show. I was on Cloud 9, and that's a snowboarding show. And so I was like, what's something different that I can play? And so I sort of went to the other universe and just like 360, and now I play a kid, a troubled artist with a drug problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how'd you do the research?
Oh, yeah.
He lives in L.A.
Yeah, I know. I just walked down Sunset a couple times. Let me tell you.
And they got that.
And scene.
And scene. No, but it's been really, really fun, and especially this season 4, we find out a lot of why he is the way he is, and he has his mother makes a more prominent role in the season, and she's. I love working with her. She's a great actress.
Every season, do they try to get new characters? Any new characters
Oh yeah,
introduced?
yeah. Well, it's kind of. I was joking with Brian, the director, this morning. Actually, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, right? When you fall in love with a character, they kill him off.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So season 3, I think, had the most deaths. So he takes what you would find in a normal soap, and he sort of multiplies it by 5.
It's like a telenovela. Like everything happens in one episode.
Yeah,
right?
kind of. Yeah. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So.
And Mike, you've also been on the other side of the camera as an executive producer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you enjoy more?
It's different. I can't really answer that because being on Real World, I think the one takeaway from that is sort of like the power of story. And at that point, I was some kid from Colorado that really didn't know much about what I wanted to do or politics, and going to DC, I was sort of thrown into that. And afterwards, the Real World, I think it goes out to 80 million people or something. It goes worldwide, and I would receive so many letters and so many emails and phone and whatever from people, just saying wow, your story really impacted me this way or this way or this way. And I was like, wow, I'm like a nobody right now, and at that point, and they're connecting with my story that much. Story is really powerful. And so when I moved here, I got involved with smaller projects, and then I got involved with a documentary called Kidnapped for Christ.
And with Lance Bass.
Lance helped me produce it, Tom DeSanto, and it was an amazing project. It was about the troubled teen industry, and it was sort of an expose. And the only reason I got involved was because my friend David was sent to one of these reform camps. And, the long and the short of it is that they have reform camps all across the U.S. and outside of the U.S., all around the world. Some are ex-military, some are not. Some are religious, some are not. Some are for a certain purpose, some are not. But they're not regulated. You have to have a permit to run a nail salon, a puppy daycare. You don't have to have a permit to run these camps. And so I sort of learned about it, and I was like, wow, this story really needs to be told. And we worked on it, and then we ended up selling to Showtime last July. And the response to that was just amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love being on this side of the camera for stories that I don't need to be in front of the camera for.
Wow.
So, so it's basically, I think it's about the story. And I'm not one of these actors that my ego is going to say, you have to be in front of camera. It has to be all about you. If it's a good story that needs to be told, and I don't belong in front of the camera, then I don't belong in front of the camera.
Right. Well, that's responsible actor right there. And just a person. All
I say that now. I've done the first film I did when I moved here was a horror film, and I got killed by a gingerbread cookie. So it took some evolution for that.
I love that. That's if I have to go. That's how I want to go. Yeah. Or pumpkin spice latte. Either one.
Killer of this pumpkin spice latte.
Well, just because of time, I want to talk about the also some. You have 2 films coming out that you've been in, Love Is All You Need and Limelight. Mm-hmm. So talk about those if you can.
Love Is All You Need is great. It's in post-production right now. Rocco Shields directed that, and it has some great actors in that. It has Tyler Blackburn. Wow. It has Elizabeth Rahm. It has Emily Osment. And it's just that's sort of it's sort of like a Romeo and Juliet story with these star-crossed lovers. Between a guy and a girl, but it's set in a world where because of the way society has developed, guys are with guys and girls are with girls. And
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood, basically, yeah. But guy-girl relationships are seen as primal and animalistic, and they're seen as breeders, and they're sort of discriminated against, much like the LGBT community.
So we're reversing the roles.
Yeah, we're reversing the roles, and it's an amazing, amazing story. And Rocco is a friend of mine, and she's been working to tell this story for a while now, and finally she was able to tell it the way that she wanted to tell it. And working on that film was great. And also my buddy Blake Cooper Griffin is on that film, and it was fun to work with him.
Well, I have to say something, because that title has been used before. Actually, a few years ago, it was from Denmark, and it was an Oscar-nominated film.
Did it end in a question mark? Because this ends in a question mark.
Nope.
Okay.
They did not have a question mark in Denmark.
Difference of punctuation.
Just add grammar.
Just add grammar. Yeah.
Underscore.
But you bridesmaid, semicolon.
Yeah.
But you should be so lucky, because it was Oscar-nominated out of 87 films. So...
Yeah,
it's a lucky title.
Yeah, well, I trust you if you say that.
Who would trust me?
So that one's great. And then Limelight, my buddy Paul Vandervoort is actually producing that. He stars in it. He produces in that, and he's an amazing, amazing guy. He's one of the first people I met when I moved here, and we go surfing together a lot. And then James Cullen Bressick. How
do you keep all these names together? I'm like, what happened?
Now,
Ask me my nieces and nephews. I can't tell you.
The Seven Dwarfs. No. And he's directing that one, and he's usually a successful horror film director, and he's branching out to do sort of like a drama.
Wait a minute, guys. Yeah. Limelight. Yeah. Another film that was Charlie Chaplin's great film.
Hey, I didn't name it. I just got cast in that one. I just got cast. I didn't. Don't shoot the messenger.
Did it win an Oscar?
Did it win an Oscar? This is an important question.
I don't know. Because
Oh,
that
okay.
was really before my time, even that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a long time ago. Charlie Chaplin. Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah.
it was in the 50s, because he was still here in the 50s, and then they kicked him out. Charlie Chaplin.
Oh,
Got too old.
yeah.
Got too old.
No, not age, politics.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right. Communism.
The Red Scare.
Yes.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
that's
Well,
right.
I say yeah like I remember.
I know.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Mister, I was 4 years old when the first Real World was out.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, you being on the Real World at the time, were you one of those that you were working at like an ice cream shop and you just happened to audition for it, and you didn't know if you wanted to be an actor at all? I mean, how did this all begin? Because you sound like you took Hollywood by
Well,
storm.
but you were very
Yeah.
politically minded, though, during that season.
I was lucky enough to be placed in somewhere like DC, where I really, to be honest with you, thank you for saying that, because to be honest, when we sort of landed right off the boat, I barely knew how our law was passed. And I go in there and I said, I remember laying in bed thinking to myself, all right, we're all supposed to get a job, and I'm here, I might as well just go for it. And so I got a job as an assistant, and then sort of worked my way up to being a lobbyist for the Human Rights Campaign and for Energy Action Coalition. And it was just sort of out of nowhere. And I was like, wow, I really love this. And it was the same thing. It was story. I would take people that were affected by the Employment Non-Discrimination, the lack of the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, anti-bullying and hate crimes, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that sort of thing. I would take them in and introduce them to congressmen and senators and say,
Wow.
this is this person. This is their story. You need to listen to this. And I saw the effect of that, and I just sort of like the seed was planted, and yeah,
That's
now what I'm
amazing.
doing. Yeah.
That's amazing. It just I love to watch people's careers take off, and it's went from a passion to a passion to a passion, and it sounds like everything that you kind of touch, you take. You do. You really take it serious, and you put everything into it, and that's why I think you're still doing what you do.
Thank you.
And you're still being creative with all this stuff, all these list of credits that you're doing. Yeah. So 10 years from now, what do you see yourself doing?
Oh, wow.
Limelight Part 2.
Part 2, semicolon. I want to, I don't know. I don't want to plan it out too much. I mean, obviously I'm working very hard on the projects I have coming out, and the roles that I get, and I'm writing a lot more, and I'm meeting people and sort of collaborating with people I enjoy working with. I can't tell you.
Any more documentaries that you have passion for?
Yeah.
That you want to do?
Yeah. So there's this one called Lost in America. We're in post-production right now. For that one, director Rotimi Rainwater spent the last 18 months traveling around interviewing homeless youth. And
That's
then
great.
we take it to the steps of Congress, and we interview members of Congress and senators. Senator Patrick Leahy's a huge supporter of the fan of the film. And we sort of try to tell a 360-degree story about the epidemic that is youth homelessness in Los Angeles, in America and Los Angeles, all across the country. So, and not only that, like a sob story, what is these kids, but also what could we do about it? So we have people like John Bon Jovi that come in and interview with us and talk about.
That's amazing.
And he's, by the way, nicest guy you'll ever meet.
I've
and
heard
he talks
all about him.
Yeah, and he talks about like the John Bon Jovi Soul Foundation that provides housing to homeless families, and we have we're trying to, knock on wood, link up with Miley right now to talk to her about the Happy Hippie and helping LGBT homeless youth. So we're really trying to tell a 360-degree story and really inspire people to say, what can I do to help a population that needs it so much?
That is amazing. Well, unfortunately, our time is up, but we want you to tune in or go to youthfuldays.com this Sunday, July 19th. It's premiering for the fourth season. I got fourth season right.
Yeah.
You proud of me? And when do these other movies come out? Do you know yet? Or are they just still in post-production right now?
Going to come out next year. But if people are listening and they're fans of Youthful Days, the day of, a couple hours before the event our premiere party is the 22nd. We're going to tweet the location of the party. So if some fans want to come in and meet the cast and the director and hang out a little bit, we're going to tweet that for a little bit, and then we're going to take it away. But just as a little teaser, it's at Youthful Days on Twitter and Facebook.
And Days is DAZE.
Yes.
D-A-Z.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has anything been called Youthful Days before?
He still calls
No. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. And MikeCManning.com to check out his website, correct?
Yeah. Everything is just Mike C. Manning.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you thank you so much for being here. I got to do this. And we want to thank Matt Eisman for being here from Home and Family. You can check him out every, I think, 10 a.m. Monday through Friday on Home and Family. Reba, thank you so much for being here. A pleasure. Emmy winning. And make sure you tune in to her show Tuesdays at 1. It's called Real Hollywood Live with Ben and Reba. Reba. That's right. And Alexander.
Happy Hour Tuesdays at 6 p.m.
And then the new show coming up in August.
In August, yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. We love you. Stick around for One-on-One with Jasper Cole right after this. Don't go anywhere. On Air with Tony Sweet on Universal Broadcasting.
This has been On Air with Tony Sweet. Don't worry, there's more online. Search On Air with Tony Sweet on iTunes for past shows and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. On Air with Tony Sweet every Wednesday and Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on ubnradio.com.